What's up, dedicated Dragon Ball denizens? I'm Ryan, and we're here for another episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Excited, this is going to be fresh off the press. I've never recorded this late before release, but SBO2 just dropped, so we are going to get into our Gotenks Deck Profile. So this is my first one. I have not tested it on client yet. I have not tested it a lot versus anyone but myself, so take that with a grain of salt, but it does what I want it to do. I think it kind of goes through and has some answers for things. So I think it's a solid list, but we'll tinker with it as we go. But this is my first one, so let's get into it. All right, deck list is up on the left-hand side, and of course in the description in the video as well. So here is Gotenks. He's a 15k. When attacking, draw a card. Awakens on 4, and then you draw a card too, so pretty good. And then he goes to Super Saiyan 3. Gotenks, let's go. All right, when attacking, draw a card. Activate main once per turn. During this turn, if you use an extra with an original cost of 3 and both Saiyan and Earthling and its special traits, this card gets plus 15k power, so then he turns into a big strong 35k if you use an extra with original cost of 3. And then we've got effects to lower those extra costs as they go to 1, and all kinds of ways to fuse. So let's see what we got here. All right, now I'm using both of the Piccolo searchers. I think this one is a little bit less liked, but I mean, you do need Gotenks and or an extra. So to me, like, I want to guarantee that I have one, so I'm going to use this guy. I think he's a good one in the deck. Yeah, you want to focus on fusing, but you have nothing to fuse into if you don't have a Gotenks in hand. And you lose out on 15k power if you don't use an extra. So I want that. And I want what I want as well. Sometimes I want specific ones for the matchup. Okay. Then we've got the other one. This one is the new one. The other one was a reprint. So this one's look at 5 cards of your deck, get a Goten or Trunks, and add it to your hand. Solid as well. For searching, you really want to be able to search out the right Goten and Trunks. So then we've got the old ones. These are one of only a few of the old school cards. I went 2 of. On play, if you have 7 or fewer, draw a card. I think this is a really good turn to play. And then you've got this guy as my only Self-Awakener in the deck, in fact. That's one interesting they did about this deck is didn't really give him a lot of Self-Awakeners. So he's kind of an emergency Self-Awakener for me. A lot of times, to be honest, by the time when I'm playing him out, I may not even have fewer than 7 cards, but that's all right. I don't care. All right, then we've got Goten. This one is 2 costs, but if you don't have another Goten in your area, reduced by 1. And then activate main for 1. Place this card in a Trunks Youth with a cost of 2 from your battle area into your drop. If your leader's Gotenks, draw a card. Then play up to 1 Gotenks with a cost of 4. Ooh. And then we have Trunks, who does the exact same thing. So you need one or the other and another 2 costs. So that's why, you know, we've got 2 of these guys as emergencies. They cost 2 to fuse. And then we have this guy, Goten Trunks Youth, so he counts as either 1. If your leader has Gotenks, and you have an extra in your drop, add up to 1 Gotenks with a cost of 4 from your drop to your hand. So that's pretty cool as well. We're able to come back and grab back our Gotenks that go to drop. Here we are. This card is actually like, it's funny because this card was never like that great in Vegeta when it came out. Or really in blue in general. It was a decent card, but not great. But now it's extremely great, and you probably want to play this guy out as your first fusion so that you can grab the Goten and Trunks back from your drop. Pretty insane. So you play him out, you get them again, you could fuse the next turn or any time that you want to do that. So really good card. I run it as a 3 of. Pretty much all of my Gotenks I'm running as 3 ofs. You know, it really depends on what I'm playing, who I'm playing, in terms of that. This one I really like. Look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal an extra, add it to your hand, and then when KO'd, if your leader's Gotenks, play up to 1 of each Goten and Trunks, both with a cost of 2 in rest mode. So it helps you fuse again if your opponent doesn't take care of them again. And a lot of times, you know, they're going to KO this guy unless you're playing like a real swarmy deck. Like, are they going to be able to take out both of them? Even if one survives, not bad. All right, and then we've got this guy. Initially, I thought maybe I would only put him as 2 and have him as a finisher, but he really helps me with clearing the board when I'm going to use the Super Ghost Kamikaze for a double 50k. Especially, I find it really works against guys like Omega Shenron. I like to play him out because, you know, it's a good 50k into the 35k, and they're going to be able to save it once, but are they going to save it twice? And other than that, we don't have a lot of like big attackers. You know, our most is of 30ks out here, which is this guy. This one's one that you could consider upping to 4 because it's probably the best card in the deck. Once during your turn, if you use an extra with the original cost of 3 or more, and say an Earthling, draw 2 cards. 2 cards when attacking every turn. So if you can keep this guy alive even for 1 turn, it's ridiculous. If you could get 2 out on board, it's insane. Like, if your opponent doesn't find a way to take care of this guy and you get a second one on board, it's going to be really hard for them to win when you're drawing 2 cards per turn. And also thinking about, like, when you're drawing, if you have 2 and you're drawing 4 cards per turn, you're going to be able to defend them pretty easily. I mean, obviously they can do things like Final Explosion, you know, other ways of removal, but I don't know, it's a good card. And then we have the Gohan. If your leader has both Saiyan and Earthling, you have a Gotenks with a cost of 4, reduce this card in your hand by 2, so then you're going to play him out for 2. During this turn, the next time you use an extra, reduce the cost by 1 blue. So essentially, because you're playing an extra every turn, probably by the time you get this guy out, you're essentially playing him for 1. That's pretty crazy. Another card that's, you know, 30k, solidly easy to defend. I love this guy at 2. It'd be nice to increase him to 3. I just don't really have the room. Super combo. Alright, then we've got the Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. If you lose Gotenks, you have a Gotenks. All of these are going to have this reduce the cost by 2, so it's essentially a 1 cost. Choose 1 Gotenks with a cost of 4, and it gets plus 25k power. That's good. Especially on this guy. And then here's our next one. We've got, if your leader's Gotenks, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read it again. Choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area with a cost less than or equal to the total cost of battle cards in your battle area. Place it at the bottom of their owner's deck. This is so good because, and that's where it really, comes in handy too, having this Gohan out there. If you can get him out when you already have a Gotenks, like if you're at 6 energy, then, I mean, you could play this guy and Gotenks. You have 8 cost, and you're going to be able to bottom deck a lot of stuff. You know, almost anything except for, what do we have? The 9 cost Broly is the only, and there's only 1. So almost anything that your opponent has is getting bottom decked. So that's pretty good. And then we've got the Death Missile Chain. Great card, but not, like, more situational. That's why I only have it in as a 2 of as well. If your leader's Gotenks and you have a Gotenks, reduced by 2, I already said. Discard a card from your hand. Choose all battle cards with a cost of 3 or less and place at the bottom of their deck. Rest in peace, Green Vegeta. Rest in peace, Ginyu. Rest in peace, whoever else wants to aggro you with the bunch of low-cost cards. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Hope you enjoy this episode. So, I'm going to enjoy playing this deck. I hope so, anyway. So I'm going to get on some games now before I pass out. If you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Hawks Nest. We're a fearless flock of fabulous folks who love to do what we love out here. I love making these videos. Excited to test this Gotenks deck. And you'll probably see more videos in the coming weeks if I make any type of tweaks to it. But until then, we'll see you next time.